Hello, everyone. Namaste. I am here. I'm here this morning with Nistrala Joy Devi, who is a world-renowned yoga therapist, researcher, speaker, and author of several really well-known and wonderful yoga books, including The Secret Power of Yoga, A Woman's Guide to the Heart and Spirit of the Yoga Sutras, The Healing Path of Yoga, which we all need right now, a new book, The Namaste Effect, and a newer book, Meditation in the Yoga Tradition. I'm sorry. All of these books, I believe, are available on Amazon, and what a great time to delve into them, because they will go deeply into the subject that we are going to talk about today, that Nistrala is going to talk about today, and that is staying in the heart. I'm wearing my heart chakra color today for this talk. Staying in the heart in these really fear-centered times. So I've asked Nistrala, who is a huge inspiration in my life and in our training at Soul of Yoga, to give us a talk on inspiration for uncertain times. So thank you so much for agreeing to do this and for being here with me. I'm so grateful.
Thank you so much, Monique, for asking me, and thank you all for listening. I've been searching for different things to do in this time, to offer people, to offer them a little solace in this very confusing time. But first, before I start speaking, maybe we could all start off with a couple of ohms together in the Namaste mudra. So just close your eyes and let your body relax. Take in a few deep breaths and let them out as slowly as you comfortably can. And with the exhale, let go of any stress, strain, tension, expectation. Let go of any worry, fear, anxiety. Replace it with a loving, open heart as we chant Om. 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 Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Namaste. Namaste. Thank you. So, here we are. Most of us are having to be in place. Let's use that term. Some of the other terms are a little bit strong, I think. And I think one of the things that we have to do right now, at least I have to do, is try to find words that calm and soothe rather than excite. And I think that all this is going on now with the people fist bumping and knee bumping and back bumping and doing all these things. It's so much sweeter. And what I've been doing with everyone, even people who don't care about this, is namaste. Someone actually sent me a little cartoon that it gave the amount of germs that are placed by first shaking and then fist bumping and then even elbow bumping, but it's zero with namaste. And not only is it zero, we're giving a message. We're saying to people, when I am in the place of oneness, and you are in the place of oneness. We are one. What an amazing message right now when we're saying to people, no, I can't touch you. No, I can't hug you. Instead, we're one. We're one. Yes, the bodies may have problems, but we are one. So use this as much as you can, and don't be afraid and think, oh, will people reject me for it? Should I go on with the fist bumps, etc.? Let that all go. Just be with the namaste. I think of all times, this is the time to be true to your own heart. Excuse me. Knowing who you are and really being true to that. Because I think in times of crisis, people draw into themselves, and sometimes we forget that which we want to be out front. So, namaste, namaste. The words that they're using, quarantine, sequester, this, think of it instead as a spiritual retreat. So there was always a little funny thing that I would talk about. And when we talk about seclusion, so a tumultuous mind has a very difficult time with seclusion. For instance, if they take someone in the prisons, the worst punishment they can give them is what? To be by themselves, right? That's the worst thing that they can do. So instead, if we look at the monks and what they like, they crave seclusion. What's the difference? It's a tumultuous mind, it's a calm mind. So let's all think of this like we're going on a self-imposed spiritual retreat instead of something that's being imposed by the government. And maybe it will change things. Sometimes if you change the attitude, change the way, everything else fits. How many of us have been saying over the last couple of years, I wish I had more time. I wish I had time to do my spiritual practices. Well, now we do, right? Now we have the time. So do that. Spend in a little extra time doing the asana that you love and feels comfortable. And that pranayama that you've been putting off because I just don't have enough time to get into it, now's the moment. So whatever it is, that beautiful likit japa, writing a mantra that you've been wanting to do on a beautiful mountain or seascape, do that. Whatever it means, get yourself back into the spiritual groove. This time can be a gift. It can be a real gift. So try to use it as that. The Quran, I don't know very well, but I know a few things from it. And all this being inside, all this stopping people from moving around, at first annoyed me, and it may still annoy some of you. Why do we have to do this? Why do we have to protect ourselves like this? Who are we protecting? So I go back to the Quran, where it talks about very clearly, trust in God and tie your camel. Well, as I'm seeing, this is the perfect thing for us right now. Trust divine essence that's having to have us be quiet. And at the same time, we're tying our camel. We're doing our spiritual practices. This is what will enhance our immune system. This is what will make us stronger. Like I was talking to a friend the other day, and she's doing all these precautions, which are very good. And I said, if you do a little bit of neti, a little bit of the water cleansing in the nose, it strengthens the mucous membranes. Put a little bit of medicated ghee or oil in there to help the membranes not be cracked. Even the medical profession is saying to us, when the nose is dry, that's when the infection can happen more. So do all these things. That's the tying your camel. Just bring that all together. So we can do some things, and the asanas strengthen the immune system. We know that. The pranayama helps us with the immune system and balance. So all of these practices, and of course we know meditation takes us to that higher realm. And when we are there in that higher realm, everything calms. And when we're calm, we're less likely to get sick. We know that stress is one of the main things that makes us sick. So let's calm it down and see what happens. Don't you think? I think so. So one of the things I've been noticing, and I don't know about you, but there's a lot of no's these days. A lot of people are telling us what not to do, right? Just a few things. Don't go out, right? Don't touch others. Don't be any closer than 6 feet from another. And for those of us that are touchers, that's a really hard thing to do. I want to reach out to people and I see that they're standing there with their arms folded. And I go, oh, okay, I can't touch them. No movies, no dining out. All these no's that are putting on us. And we know that no depletes the immune system. We can feel that. We know that. So start adding some yeses to your life. For instance, yes to connecting with electronic, whether it's phone, Skype, Zoom, whatever it may be, FaceTime. Make this something. Before we got on, I was just mentioning that I heard one of my friends is doing a potluck on Skype. So everybody's bringing their food and everybody's talking about how it tastes and visiting with each other. At first I thought, oh, that's a little silly. Now it sounds like a great idea to me, right? Why not? One of the television personalities was doing happy hour with her friends. Why not do something? Get together, read scripture, do meditation together, something, anything to keep that community going, because the community will help us be well. The community is satsanga, and let's do that. So, also, yes to spending time in the garden if you have one. If you're in the city, you may not have a garden, but you might have a few plants. Maybe they needed some help and you haven't had time. This is a good time. Perhaps they even need repotting. Good time for that. Learning to cook the favorite dishes that you weren't able to cook because you didn't have time. Also, say yes to eating healthy food while you're being kept inside. Our calories will go down because we're not active. So these are just some practical things. When we went into the supermarket last week to get some supplies, I noticed what was missing. It was all the junk food that was missing, along with the toilet paper, of course, but it was the junk food. So be really careful what you eat. And I know it's a time we kind of want to put things in our mouth to soothe our anxiety. But remember, all this is going to have an effect and lower the immune system as well. Yes to doing more practices. Instead of rushing through them, take your time. Enjoy it. Do a long, deep relaxation, yoga nidra. See how it feels to just feel your body really soften. Wouldn't it be interesting if those of us that did not get the virus actually were healthier at the end of this? It's possible because there's less stress, eating healthy food, resting more, and doing more practices. So it's an interesting thought. We'll see how that happens. Actually, something very similar happened during World War II in Europe. And what that was, very interesting. Because they couldn't get the food into a lot of the places, a lot of the cities, so they started to do only things that were necessary. And they cut out all the sugars and everything that made people not feel well. At the end of World War II, when they looked at these people, it's not that they were well nourished, but they were thin but healthy. So sometimes adversity has a way of helping us also. Think of it that way. Just change the mind a little bit. Yes to helping your neighbor who is unable to shop for themselves. Or maybe they can't use a computer. So if you're still going out shopping, call your neighbor and say, do you have something that I can pick up for you? and just leave it outside their door. You don't have to have close contact with them. I know in our complex here, we're doing that. We have people that are going shopping for people, bringing their packages to their door, those that are really at high risk or are not well. So giving, serving really helps our hearts, really helps our hearts. And when our hearts are helped, our immune system goes up. Should I stop now? Did you have any questions you wanted to ask? No? Okay. All right. One of the things that's so important is to quell the fear. Get the fear down. And I would suggest, and you can do whatever you like, don't watch TV. Because they have a 24/7 news cycle they have to fill. And what you're doing is constantly getting this same bad report over and over. It's worse today. It's sensationalism. It's really a hard thing to watch, to understand. Turn it off. Watch something funny. I don't know if you remember the stories about the famous Norman Cousins. And he contracted a very, very difficult disease, a neurological disorder they had no treatment for. He went to all kinds of doctors and nobody could give him hope. He said, well, if I'm going to die anyway, I might as well do something fun. So all he could do was lay in bed because he was so sick. And he laid in bed and he got all the funny movies. He got all the Laurel and Hardy ones and the Three Stooges from years ago. And he would just watch it constantly. And he started to laugh. And he would have these deep belly laughs when he did it. After a certain point, he was able to get out of bed. And then he watched them in the chair. And then he felt well enough to actually go out. He actually cured himself of this dreadful disease by laughing. So try it. Try laughing. See how it makes you feel. I think you will actually feel healthier and stronger. And whatever comes, we're able to deal with. Try it. You might like it. So one of the things that I've been involved in that some of you know is working with the chakras. And to me, this is perfect chakra time. One of the things I'm offering also for those of you that are watching this is free chakra meditations, one a week. You can go to our website and one a week, listen to it, strengthen the different chakras. You can do it every single day. Really strengthen, especially the Muladhara or base chakra. So what I'd like to do now, if we're happy with this, is to just go through this meditation for the base chakra. Remember, the base chakra is basic survival. And to me, that's what's happening right now. Also in that chakra is fear. So let's try to quell the fear and transform it into courage, right? Let's be courageous right now. And this is something we can do. So if you would, we need to subdue this strong survival instinct now in order to bring forth the love and compassion, which we'll do toward the end with the Anahata heart chakra. So if you would, wiggle around, get yourself comfortable, and allow the eyes to close if you like. If not, keep them open. And take in a few deep breaths and let them out as slowly as you can. Let's invoke the parasympathetic nervous system to just calm us down. Take another one. It felt so good. And feel yourself softening into a deep stillness and peace. Begin to venture to the base of the spine, to the Muladhara chakra. There you will find awaiting your awareness a whirling vortex of energy, vibrating and radiating a brilliant red. This color vibration generates outward as the Muladhara chakra. From the base of the spine, feel energy moving downward, rooting directly into the earth. Notice how this energy connects us to the force of Mother Earth, to our basic survival, a feeling of being grounded, steady, strong. From Mother Earth, her body and elements, our bodies are created. The energy entwines and draws us to her as gravity draws energy from her to sustain life. She blesses us through the food we eat, protects us through the clothes we wear, and the shelter that safeguards. We thrive on planet Earth. Observe your breath as it flows in and out with ease. Feel the energy coursing down from the center of your body and down both legs as they sprout branches from the bottom of the feet, transmitting energy to and attracting energy from Gaia. The assurance of survival. Feel a slight movement, even a tingling, taking place at the base of the spine. And now we honor the Muladhara chakra for being the connection to the earth that sustains us. Make a silent affirmation to nurture the Muladhara chakra and the qualities of survival that it holds. It is honored when we care for our basic needs and for our Mother Earth. Namaste. When I am in a place of love and oneness, I am one with Mother Earth. Namaste. Namaste. Thank you. You see why this can help us? Because it deals directly with our survival, and what's happening to us now is dealing directly with our survival. The fear, the anxiety, what can I do? What should I do? Am I doing enough? Am I doing the right thing? All these questions can be quelled when we go in and realize we are connected to the Mother Earth, and she will help us. Namaste. When we're scared, we tend to pull in. We tend to get a bit selfish even. And that's normal. That's what happens. People who get sick, they pull in. It's all about them. But we're yogis. We're yoginis. We need to remember to reach out, whether it's saying a prayer, whether it's reaching out to a friend who lives by herself, whatever it may be. There was a time like this before, not quite in the same way, but if we look, and we were curious, so we looked it up last night, during the Great Depression. It was really a horrible, horrible time. And I don't know if people realize it, which I didn't really, but it lasted for 12 years. Imagine, 12 years. But we had a great leader at that time. was something that helped us. And this great leader, President Roosevelt, he put people to work. He found things for them to do. They built the railroads, they built bridges, they built roads, because he knew that idleness would cause distress and unrest. And he had a motto, because everybody was so afraid. They were afraid that they weren't going to have a place to live. They were afraid they weren't going to have enough to eat, disease, everything. They won't be taken care of because there was not good medical care at that point. And he had this motto, and it said, "We have nothing to fear but fear itself." And that has come back to me so many times in the last couple of weeks. That fear, that's what we're doing. We're creating more and more fear. Let's try to quell it. That's where that base chakra energy needs to be steadied and the courage brought forth. I had a very interesting experience a couple years back with this whole disease process. I was living as a monk, and we had a monastery, and every year, it was in Connecticut, this particular one, it was in Connecticut, and every year flu season came, and I watched what happened. So everybody, it went through the monastery, you can imagine, like wildfire. And I watched what happened. So as someone would start to feel the symptoms, they would go to their superior, whoever that was, and say, I'm not feeling well. And they say, oh, go to your room, lay down, relax, and take care of yourself and try not to spread it around to everybody else. So that's what they would do. But they wouldn't just go to their room. They'd find this book that they've been longing to read for so long but didn't have the time. And they'd take a big pot of tea with a little tea cozy on it and a pretty cup, and they'd go to their room and snuggle down under the duvet. And for 3 days, they would stay there like that. People would bring them some fresh tea or some food, etc., if they were hungry. And then at the end of 3 days, they'd get up and go back to work. So I watched this because I've been in medicine for a long time. And I thought to myself, this is interesting. Let me try a little experiment. So what I did is I was feeling fine, but I thought it'd be nice to hang out in bed for a couple of days and read a book. We worked really hard as monks. And so that's what I did. I went to my superior, and I didn't want to lie. So I said, I feel like I could get this, and I want to take some precautions. And she said, fine. And she said, okay, go. So I got a big teapot, and this book I'd been wanting to read for so long, took it to my room, got under the duvet with the book, and I stayed there for 3 days. Then I came back, went back to work. I never got the flu that season. So I thought, well, this is interesting. Let me try it again next year. And sure enough, the flu started going around. It was winter. And I thought, okay, I'm going to try it again. I did it again with the same results. What happened? I was enjoying myself. I was resting, which I really needed. And my immune system responded by not getting sick. I'm offering to you, try it, see what happens. Try relaxing, try doing things that you really want to do. It's really a time I was saying the other day, I don't even have to look at a watch or a timer. There's nothing happening. I have no place to go. I have no appointments except for today, one appointment. But otherwise, I don't need a watch, right? So it's a very interesting time. It's sort of turning all our rules on their heads and offering us some free time that we really need. Along with that, there was a beautiful offering by the Catholic Church some years ago. And they had what they called the House of Prayer. And a House of Prayer was a place that you could go, no charge. Anyone could go there. And the only thing was, it was silence all day. And you went in, they served meals, it was silent. And I would just slip in. So I would go there on my day off. That was my treat to myself. I didn't have to talk to anybody. I would go right after morning meditation around 6:30, 7. I'd spend the day and then spend the night. And then the next morning, I would then go back. And I got to know some of the nuns pretty well that lived there, really sweet and long, long practices. I mean, these nuns have been meditating for years and years and years, especially this one really old one that I would meet every morning on the way to the meditation room. I would go to the meditation room, she would go to the chapel. And we would smile at each other because there was no talking. And we sort of communicated that way. The only time we could talk was during dinner. So sometimes I would even ask them, how do you do this for so many years? And she'd say, this is the joy of my life. I love getting up in the morning and praying. I thought, okay. But they did something that was very unusual. Right before prayers were usually at 6 o'clock, or I'm sorry, 7 o'clock. They would all gather in silence around the TV. I thought, that's a strange thing. So I joined them one night to see what they were doing. And what they were doing is watching the news. I thought, watching the news? Why would you do that? So afterwards, as we went into prayer, I asked this nun that I had become friendly with non-verbally, and I said, why, after all this prayer and silence, would you watch the news? And she went like this, and she said, well, of course we watch the news. How would we know who to pray for? And I thought, okay, again, turning things around, looking at them in a little different way. This is something that stayed very close to my heart. Also, gratitude. This is a big thing, gratitude. At Christmas, I sent out a little blog because I had read a study on gratitude. And what it showed that if people for 3 weeks wrote down one thing a day, that's all, just one thing a day, but it had to be written, of what they're grateful for, their bodies physiologically changed. Their blood pressure went down. They didn't measure immune function, but my guess is that would have been in it too. Because if it's strong enough to lower blood pressure because the heart is opening, the heart also would quell any drop in immune system. Try it. This is something that we can all do. Just write down one thing you're grateful for every day and notice if there's a change. Because what we tend to do in a time like this is write down what we're not grateful for, all our grumps, right? I'm grumpy because of this, I'm grumpy because of that. Instead, write down gratitude. And it doesn't have to only be one thing. It can be more than that. Try it, see what happens. There's one sutra that I can't help but using constantly during this. And I know some of you are students of the sutras, and you may even have this among your most favorite. It's Sutra 33. And again, I'm using The Secret Power of Yoga. 33 in the second book. And it is called, some of you who have taken this with me know, Pratipaksha Bhavana. Now, why have I picked out of all 196 sutras, Pratipaksha Bhavana? Because this is what we have to do now. This is the changing of the fear to courage, and maybe, if you can, even to faith. This is the one, because it says, when presented with disquieting thoughts or feelings, cultivate an opposite elevated attitude. This is Pratipaksha Bhavana. This is one of my favorite sutras because it helps change my attitude rather than hoping to change the situation or the people who cause me to be unhappy. That's the first paragraph. It sounds like I wrote it yesterday, doesn't it? Because this is what's happening. We can't change what's happening. I can't change it, but I can keep my attitude positive. That's my job. That's what I can do. That's what you can do. That's what we all can do. You know, it's very interesting. There was a nun with Mother Teresa when she was alive who was very ill, and she was basically housebound and even bedbound. And one day, Mother Teresa came to see her, and she asked her, "How are you doing?" And she said, "You know, I feel like I should just die." And Mother Teresa looked at her. "Why would you say something like that? The human life is such a gift." She said, "Well, what am I doing here? All I'm doing is laying around, and you all are doing the work, and it makes me feel terrible." Mother Teresa looked at her and she said, "What are you doing when you're lying in bed?" She said, "Well, I'm praying." "For whom?" she said. "For all of you who are doing the work." And Mother Teresa looked at her and she said, "That's how we do what we do, because people like you are praying." Do you know that there's holy people right now in the Himalayas that no one has seen for years and years and years? And they're praying. They're sending out mantric vibrations. And this is why things are as good as they are. What would happen if these people stopped? You can become one of them now. Say your prayers, do things, keep your heart open. And I know it's hard. This is not an easy time. This is the time that we serve others with prayer and good thoughts. Don't let that rest get in there. I'd like to end, if I may, with a heart chakra meditation from, again, the Namaste Effect. Because when I started out reading the base chakra, this was our way of making our survival strong. All the chakras are necessary right now. But the heart chakra, some of you may remember, also holds the immune system. So by making the heart chakra strong, we're making the immune system strong. So please, once again, get comfortable, stretch out, stretch up. You can stretch up and wiggle your fingers for just a minute. Just go like that. Oh, you can't see my fingers. Here's my fingers. Just wiggle your fingers, stretch out, back, stretch up. Oh, good. Those at home can even stand up if you want and wiggle, and then sit back down. So it's really important now, as we do this, to be aware of your heart and the light in your heart. And as Monique was saying, she's wearing green and I'm wearing pink. They're both colors of the heart chakra. So let's let that light in the heart come forward. So please make a good, comfortable posture and allow the body and mind to become quiet. Take in a few breaths and feel yourself softening into a deep stillness and peace. Please bring the awareness to the heart center, the Anahata chakra. There, awaiting your awareness, is a whirling vortex of energy, emitting a glowing vibration of soft green color, reminiscent of the early spring. This vibration generates outward as the Anahata chakra. It connects us to the forces of intuition, love, and compassion. Observe your breath as it flows in and out with ease. And now bring the focus to the very center of your heart, where the divine love resides. Observe when the heart beats, love flows outward. As the heart rests, love flows back to the heart. With each inhalation, observe the love in the heart deepening. On the exhalation, allow that love to flow outward. Continue to breathe deeply as you observe the love in the heart expanding to become the size of the heart itself. Inhale, observe the love as it expands to fill the entire body. Exhale, send that love out to someone who may need that loving energy. And as you inhale, the love deepens. And on the exhale, surround them with this love. Is there a message to accompany this love? If so, send it silently now. As you inhale, continue to access the love in your heart. And on the exhalation, allow that love to fill the entire room. Inhale, the love deepens. Exhale, it flows outward as love. Allow the love to continue to expand beyond the room to embrace each flower, tree, and plant on Mother Earth. Continue to expand the love in your heart to all the animals. Expand that love to all human beings in every land in this world. Wish them well, wish them health, wish them love. And now allow the love to fill the streams, the lakes, the rivers and oceans until it merges with the very core of our Mother Earth. Absorbing this love offering, Gaia offers this healing energy to all, soothing and healing the entire world. From this deep place of love and compassion, choose an affirmation that encourages you to share love with all unconditionally. It could be, when I am in a place of love and oneness, I feel compassion and love for all. Or anything that you choose that brings you to that place of love. Slowly and very gently, begin to bring the awareness back to your own heart, the origin of this love. Honor it as a source for universal love and compassion. As all love flows from an eternal source, it greatly amplifies when shared. The oneness is then complete. Namaste. When I am in the place of love and oneness, I feel compassion and love for all. Namaste. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May all be blessed with peace and joy, radiant health, unconditional love, and peace of knowing who we really are and sharing that knowledge with all. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Shanti. Shanti. Namaste.
Namaste. Oh, thank you so much. I feel so much better.
Me too.
Yeah. Thank you. And for those of you who have adored that, like I did, and felt it was necessary, like I did, Nisrallah has agreed to do a live chat with us on April 7th at 3 p.m. That's Pacific time, and also Arizona time now, right? We're on the same.
That's right.
So that will be posted on the newsletter that you're receiving this video in, and on Nistrala's newsletter that she'll be sending out or posting this on Facebook. And if you would like, in before then, a little more experience of Nistrala, as she said, this is a great time for a spiritual retreat, and she has many wonderful video courses on her website at www.abundantwellbeing.com, and we'll also type that out in our newsletter, so you'll have that link.
And then also the free chakra meditations too.
Oh yeah. Are they on your website, or do people email?
They will be.
Okay, great.
We're in the process.
Okay. Yes. Thank you so much again. I'm just beyond grateful.
Thank you.
I feel so much better. And everyone out there, have a great day. Namaste to everyone.
Namaste.